All right, this video is going to be about parts compatibility between the new Ruger RXM and the old Gen 3 Glocks. It's a Gen 3 Glock clone, just with the FCU. So it should be pretty self-explanatory what parts fit, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying that various Glock parts don't work on the RXM and that they're not fully Glock compatible. So we're going to find out. I'm going to take as many parts out of this gun and put them in this gun as I can. Some of these parts are aftermarket, so I have some of the factory ones here. I have a Gen 5 here just to compare sights, because those are the same. But other than that, I think it should be pretty self-explanatory. So let's just get started. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over the slides and the barrels, because I have seen people saying that they are different. They're not. I already did this once before, but people don't believe me. So there is a complete Glock Gen 3 slide. It does have an aftermarket barrel. It's the factory recoil system, and all the guts are factory too. So let's throw that on there. We get a click. We get a reset. I do have, this is not a pencil, but we can do the pencil test. It does work. It does, these are snap caps. It does feed, and it does eject. These snap caps are a little out of spec, but it ejects. So, well, there goes one of them. Now let's get a little bit deeper into it. I guess we'll start with stripping the slides down and transplanting some parts over. I'm going to have to take my little optic off here and re-zero it. So you are welcome for being willing to do that. Aren't I such a nice guy? This optic, if you're wondering, is the Leupold Delta Point Micro. It is kind of weird, but I like it. If you're wondering what it is, you can go look that up later on your own time. But that has to come off to get the back plate off of here. So let's just, I haven't taken the back plate off in a while. I think that's how you do it. Sure is. So there's the factory Glock back plate. We have a factory Glock striker. We have the ejector spring. There's that's the factory recoil assembly. We'll keep that over here. I'm not taking my comp off of this one. It's an aftermarket barrel anyway. So we'll set the rest of that stuff aside for now. Oh wait, no we won't. We'll do the extractor, and let's do the plunger too. Why the hell not? Yeah, that's it. Set that aside now, and we'll repeat that on the RXM. Put that aside, and I'm going to put the factory Glock barrel in the RXM in a second. This one's a little stiffer, but I do believe they're the same. RXM parts go on the right. Same thing there. I haven't cleaned this one since I shot it, so yeah, it's a little dirty, but we'll be all right. I should know better than that. Yep, that's it. Okay, going back in. Let's do this guy first. Glock part in. Glock part. Where's my punch? Why am I so bad at this? There we go. Glock part going in. Glock part going in. Glock back plate. Is on. And let's just do an interim function check while we're here. Actually, let's do the sights first. I'm not going to take the sights off. You'll just have to live. But you can't see the sights so easily on that Gen 3 slide. So that's where the Gen 5 comes in. Look at all these parts. Can you see that well enough? Pick here. You can see they are using the same hardware. I have my Glock sight tool here. It is the same size tool. As for the rear sights, I'm just not taking that out because I don't feel like relock tightening them and cleaning them off right now. The rear sights are factory Glock sights here. They are the same. This is an OEM Glock night sight, and we have the RXM sight here. It is the same dovetail. I got a pair of calipers here. Hang on. We can verify that a little bit more for you. Let's zero those out. And then we'll check the width of the dovetail. 6.6 comes out there with that caliper. Let's try it on the Gen 5 slide. It's the same. We can do it on the Gen 3 slide now too. It's the same. So the sights are compatible. I did see people say that the sights were not compatible. I don't know where that comes from. Glock clones are, I thought, a pretty well understood thing. See, there's your factory. I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera. There's your factory Glock barrel. And where to put, yeah, that's the Glock one because it's obviously more beat up. So there you have a fully Glockified RXM slide with all the Glock guts in it. Quick function check. Click. We do get a reset. Not as positive a reset, but it is a little bit different parts. Let's do our test. That comes right out. And it's gone forever. Oh well. So, I guess we'll do a snap cap to make sure everything else still works. Look at that. It does. So, we're good there. Let's move on to the lower. Let's put these in my little organizer before they disappear forever. You know how it is. All right, so RXM has this nifty little FCU, just like the SIG P320 does. I took it apart once just to see how it worked. And I think I remember how to do it still. So it's pretty similar to taking the trigger out of a Glock, as you might be familiar with already. Come on, you. There we go. This part is where it's a little different because there's a bigger pin holding in the FCU. This is the only thing that's different on them is the pins. But as you'll see in a second, it's not that different. So the big pin goes there, and once you have those two out, you can take out. Let's keep that down. Come on. There's your takedown lever. Drop my spring, but that's okay. I didn't lose it. RXM part goes to the side. And we'll just put that spring back in there for the time being. Then the rest of it just kind of lifts out like that. There goes the spring again. We'll just find that real quick. All right, I got it. That's what I get for trying to rush, I guess. Set that aside. So there's the FCU. And the question is, does it take Glock components? I have a trigger, I have a disconnector, and I have the slide stop here. So we're going to swap all of those over. The slide stop is like so identical. I don't feel like that's necessary, but this whole video shouldn't really be necessary. But here we are anyway. There's our locking block. There is the RXM part there. Now I have to switch sides. The way you get this little chunk out here is you actually have to kind of bend this apart for the little plastic tabs to clear. It's a little fiddly. And you have that that should look pretty familiar to people who have replaced trigger parts on a Glock before. So let's get out the factory ones. I know these are in aftermarket boxes. The aftermarket parts are on the actual Glock lower. These are the factory ones that I saved just in case. So, I know I'm not very organized here, but I don't usually make a whole lot of videos like this. Maybe I'll get better at it if I keep doing it. Alright, so the Glock trigger, or the RXM trigger rather, comes right on out of there. And there it is next to an OEM Glock trigger. Looks pretty similar, doesn't it? That's because they're the same. Okay, there's the RXM's connector, disconnector, whatever you prefer. So the Glock one's going back in, and that's the Glock trigger. I know what I'm doing, I swear. Okay. Going back in. This is actually a little fiddly on these, but it's not too bad. You just have to get these little pegs lined up. There you go. Again, I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy on the internet. Okay, we have our Glock slide stop, our Glock trigger, Glock connector. Let's put it all back together now. Get everything lined up. Where to put the pin. There it is. Actually, you know what? I think I have spare trigger pins here. Hang on a second. Are these Gen 3 or Gen 5? I think they're Gen 3. I'm not 100% certain what generation these came off of, so I'm not going to use it. They might be from the 5. That wouldn't be fair to put that in there and see whether it works or not. Actually, the fact that there's 3 instead of 2 should tell me something, but the decision's been made. We're moving forward. Can't see what I'm doing because I'm trying to keep my big stupid head out of the frame. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. What have I done? Okay. thing at a time. Then this goes in. Look at that, I figured it out. Would you believe that I took the Glock Armorer's course once upon a time? Hard to believe seeing that, ain't it? Okay, what else? Ooh, yeah, the magazine release. I brought something for that. This is an extended magazine release on my Gen 3, but it is one of the, like, OEM extended releases. There that goes. And there that goes. You can tell the factory one, the Glock one, because it's silver. Otherwise, they're dimensionally pretty much identical. I feel like the RXM one is basically equivalent to the factory extended one, which is good because actually that's a little bit longer, but whatever. What else? It occurs to me I didn't do the ejector, but you're just gonna have to fucking trust me on that one because I'm not going back now. This again just kind of goes in here and rocks back down. What else? Oh, I gotta take the takedown lever out of the factory one. That's annoying. But I'll do it for you because I'm such a nice guy. Oops, put it back in. Not let that spring take off to the moon. Am I still recording? You bet I am. Okay. All right, so what we have here is a fully Glockified RXM, once I remember to put all the rest of the damn pins in. So, the only real parts, I think, that you're not going to be able to, like, one-to-one transfer over are the ones that pertain specifically to the FCU itself, but not the trigger parts. The trigger parts are the same, and trigger parts work if you want to upgrade your RXM trigger. You can do that with factory like existing Glock triggers. Get in there. As you'll soon see. That one fits nice and tight. I like that. So there we have it. You see all those parts went right back together, and the only kind of fiddling and figuring I had to do are because I'm partially incompetent. So once again, click, a reset, a click. Oh yeah, I lost my little pen. Oh wait, a pencil. Look, it works. And then I still have one round left somewhere. Magazine release, holds magazine in, releases it, no problem. We're loading that round. We're clicking, we're ejecting. It's all the same, I told you. Now I have to undo all this stuff. You're welcome.